Everybody, welcome to the second episode of the Frontline Realty podcast, where we discuss first responders and real estate, and also real estate. For this topic, we're going to be speaking about growth in the team, growth in yourselves as first responders and agents, and then what happens if all of the above happens very quickly. And that's something that I think we can both attest to on both sides of our careers, whether it's real estate or being a fireman. So, just a quick backstory on our team in case you missed the last episode. We formed the Frontline Legacy Group last year. We're about a year and a half old now, or a year old?
We're about say a year and a half old now.
Okay. And it was just a couple of agents at first. I got in early. One of our team members who's not here, Tim, he's been here from pretty much the very beginning as well. And then there's been some ins, and then there's been some outs, and now we have a pretty large team at 32. And here's what you can expect if you're starting a team and things happen quickly. So I'll let you take away, since this was pretty much your baby.
Yeah. So I mean, there is no manual on how to form a team. You can I guess to backtrack on that, I was a part of a very successful real estate team. They're still around, huge mega team.
Great team.
Over at EXP, the Anchor Buy team. And I was fortunate to learn a lot from them as I was with their team. I ended up going solo and wanted to kind of start my own brand. And that's when I realized about that team name and that team leverage really does make or break your business sometimes when you have that to piggyback off of, and then when you're going to be a solo agent. So long story short, I was a solo agent maybe for 3 months before I started a team, and that was back when we were with Epic Realty and we were Ohio Select Group, and then fast forward, we ended up forming the Frontline Legacy Group that was, first responder owned and operated, 100% first responder theme. And I think, honestly, us doing that is what saved our team with that niche, because it's relatable. It's something not many people can duplicate. Obviously, there's been a lot of growing pains in the beginning. We learned the hard way on a lot of things about, we were at different brokerages that promised different things that didn't pan out. And, I'm sure they're phenomenal for other people, but it just wasn't a fit for us. We ended up switching back to Keller Williams, which is a brick and mortar traditional brokerage. And that has been basically the foundation, what we needed to actually excel this. So, you can do everything with the best intentions and, think you have everything mapped out, but there's going to be things that come up and stuff, and you're going to learn, kind of on the fly. And that's kind of how our SOG started, where just different situations that we haven't come across yet that, okay, so now that we learned from that, we're going to put in standard practice and give this out to the agents. And so they're familiar with if they come into the situation. But I know one thing that I learned, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We're not going to be the right fit for every individual. That's kind of why we just targeted, first responders, because we all think the same. We all have that same mindset. Some people, we've had a couple agents come and go just because they're looking more for that office business atmosphere, and that's just kind of not how we roll. We just, we have a certain way of doing it. With us working 24/48 as our other job, it doesn't really feasible for me to be in an office Monday through Friday. I just not what I want to do. I'd rather be at home, working from home, and having that time with my family.
Well, that's the whole point of whether it's a transition or a separation of the two jobs, because you do want to spend more time at home.
Yeah, and I've kind of realized real quick is, like, you see some of these successful teams, and you try and, it works for them. I'm going to mirror that, and it does not pan out, because you kind of have to make it unique to yourself, and everybody's situation is different. And I've learned also just from going to these different masterminds that all these teams that I'm watching and seeing what they're doing, well, they're watching us also, and like, hey, you guys are killing it with this. What's your secret? So I don't think anyone truly has it panned out 100%, figuring out whether their strength may be in their systems and their policies and their practices. They may be lacking in social media and vice versa. So it's, constant. You learn as you go, but, luckily now with the support that we've had at Keller Williams, we've finally have hit that point where we're no longer spinning our wheels. We're just just accelerating up to the top. So
Yeah.
a new foreseen problem that we realized now is we have. I'm losing my voice.
You're talking so much.
I know I shouldn't. I should let you talk a little bit. Well, the new problem that we see projected coming on, we have all these new team members coming on, and there's just 3 team leads here.
Yeah.
So, what can we do to kind of blunt that problem where we're not going to be able to, be a resource for everybody at the exact same time? I don't want anything to be missed for anybody. So,
Well, I think I'll give voice a break.
thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna drink more water here.
I think one thing that we can do is have a unilateral introduction for our new team members, so we can see that every single person has had the exact same orientation, not only through KW and for them, but also how we operate. So there's a clear expectation, and every agent is going to have, his or her strengths and weaknesses.
And just cater to that.
Yeah, and we just build on the strengths. Maybe we don't really need to even affect those weaknesses too much. Just highlight those strengths.
Yeah, because everybody's going to need different support, different areas. Like
Yeah.
somebody's going to want to be cold calling all the time. Somebody's bread and butter is probably going to be open houses. They're going to work their sphere, everybody. And that's one thing we've learned also is everybody has a different group. Even though we're all in the fire service, this person has this township, this person has this city and stuff. And they're going to choose maybe maybe cold calling or calling for sale by owners is not something they want to do, which I would never force on anybody. It's, honestly, it's not something I like to do either. I would rely more on social media and in our ad spend that we use. We've had a lot of success with that. So I think that's kind of what we learned in the beginning also forming the team is, as much as I tried to show you guys everything that I knew, there's always stuff that I would have forgot until it came with the situation. Like, oh yeah, I guess I should have told you that.
Yeah, I mean, you made how many handbooks in the last year and a half? 3?
Yeah.
and just trying to fine tune the system to where it
Yeah,
works.
there's just the handbooks and the Google Drives and everything, and
Yeah.
different. And that's where Keller Williams came in, because I was trying to reinvent the wheel with the training and everything, and that was taking me away from other things for the admin role, as a team lead. And Keller Williams, I mean, they have the best training programs I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
they really do.
that filled that void and then some. So that was able to take our attention away from that and focus on some other systems and other things that we have in play that made things like streamlined. Like, for instance, our listing and buying process, when you go to write a contract, when I first started, it used to take me about an hour. Well, we have everything so automated now for everybody that you can write an offer in about 10 minutes or less.
Yeah. If you have a game plan with your clients and you know exactly what that offer's going to look like, that offer's sent so quickly.
And I think it also plays a big part on like who you're partnered with in this business really is going to drive how successful you are. Because we worked with a couple different title agencies and lenders and stuff, and they were all phenomenal in their certain aspects and everything. But I think what we have now with American Title Solution
Fantastic.
and Cross Country Mortgage, I mean, we couldn't ask for a better group of partners.
We have a great support system, very knowledgeable people. One of my favorite sayings, and anybody in the fire service who knows me has heard me say this at least once: the more information you have, the more successful you are going to be.
Yep.
So education, especially as these new agents are coming on, is so important.
Yeah, and there's no excuse now because everything's at their fingertips where they can look it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, our phones are always turned on. We're always accessible. They can call me anytime if they have a question and stuff. But the knowledge and the training is out there at their fingertips. They can watch live Zooms or go in person for trainings, or they can actually search their KW's library for the certain topic that they want that they can find also. Plus, with our SOGs also, it'll cover pretty much every situation that we've come in contact with thus far. We're up to 46.
Yeah.
So
a year and a half, 46.
Yeah, 46
SOGs.
SOGs
Don't do
to
those.
cover everything. Yeah. So yeah, every time something happens, new policy. So
Yep. No, that's all right. That's growing pains.
yeah, it is, and I think that's the best thing about it. It's like I think when you become stagnant, that's another issue because, I think constant or the only constant is change.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's always with the new NAR rule where we had to change the buyer broker agreement, and every couple months there's a new policy or a new dot loop document we had to add in. So we just constantly make sure everybody's up to date on that. And
Yep.
learning the new policies and procedures or new way of doing things because it changes for the season, it seems like, but something that's benefited me recently is going to these masterminds that are hosted by different, top producers that I've always followed since I got my license, and actually it's refreshing to hear that they follow us as well and they love what we're doing, so they're learning from us. I'm obviously learning from them, and just giving back in that aspect.
So this is a lot of the snowball stuff that we've dealt with over the last 18 months. Quick, like what are the tools to manage these as a team leader?
Well, I think trying to figure out, you want to have a good business first before you want to be successful yourself before you start a team, because you're not going to do anybody any favors if you don't have business generated yourself. And you want to kind of look at the big picture, like, your cost breakdown, like, because there's things like obviously your signs, your lock boxes. We all have polos that, that's a cost. There's like name riders that you get your team members. There's a lot of expenses. And a big thing is for your team members as a team owner, your name's on everything. So you got to make sure everybody's following the same way. You don't want to be, a dictator about it, but, you want things to follow exactly how
there has to be the expectation.
Yeah, that they're not going to go. You don't want a rogue agent, I guess, is the best way to do it, because you definitely don't want to get yourself in trouble for something somebody else did, and now you're going to be left there cleaning up the pieces, and you definitely don't want to catch yourself in a lawsuit. So
absolutely.
Those are the big things, like, obviously learning, like, everything adds up quick, expense wise. You just want to be the main focus is you want to provide value to your team members. Not just for knowledge base, but also for, teaching them how to lead gen, teach them things that you've done that has worked. But luckily for us, with the first responder theme, everybody can get behind that. It's something that everybody, I can't tell you how many times we've gotten calls just from people found us on the website and just said, hey, I want to work with you. We love first responders and we love how you guys give back. And that's, I tell you before, I used to have to go into listing appointments against some of these top producers and really sell our social media stuff that we do and hammer on all that, and with the piggybacking off of our first responder name and the respect that we've earned with that, it's been a night and day difference.
Really
obviously we still tell them everything that we do. We haven't changed any services we provided. If anything, we've increased them. But
actually
it's made things a lot easier for us. And honestly, I'm transparent. I'm probably the most transparent person you'll ever meet.
You're
I don't think
no BS guy.
If we can jump on that first responder theme, I don't think we would have it. We would still be a team. I think that was what we did, and that's what pivoted our business and skyrocketed it. And then we were able to get the systems in place, and that's really what helped, because unfortunately you see all these people, they have the best intention. Everybody wants to start a team. Nobody's really willing to open up the playbook on how to do it, so they try and learn the best way they can, and it's trial by error. And financially, that takes a big hit. That last year was actually one of my slowest years in real estate, because all my focus was
on the team.
And man, it was worth it, because seeing everybody being able to get out of working out their second or third B job for the fire department, have their time back with their family, and I believe everything goes full circle. You know?
There was one point too, and I think this is an important lesson that we learned as well, is that you had a conversation with me about 6 months ago about this, and I could tell you were flustered, and you don't normally get flustered, so I was like, okay, this is something that we really need to pick apart here. And I said, we're just growing too fast right now. We've had too many changes. We need to let this system ride out for a little bit and see where, in the fire service, we say this all the time, where the holes in the Swiss cheese are, where things can go wrong. And then, we let things ride out for a couple months until the end of summer, going into fall, and then onboarded a whole bunch of new team members.
And that was the problem too, is like I was trying to put my finger on everything and do everything, and that's not good leadership, honestly. The leadership is to empower your team members and your friends, and just, trust the process. And that was the hardest thing to get used to doing, and man, I wish I would have done it sooner, because there used to be so many things that would just fall through the cracks. And oh man, I should have done that. I meant to do it, because I had a whole checklist of everything, but there's only so many hours in a day. And, obviously that was taken away from my family too and stuff. But since, you and Tim have stepped up, and, soon to be Travis also is going to be running the Columbus region. It's awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better than to be in business with, my best friends and stuff. I can't describe it. So people you trust and people that trust you, that's the biggest thing too. Without even hesitation, when I said we need to make a switch, nobody questioned it. They said, okay, when are we going? So that really meant a lot too, to have that trust from the team.
Yeah, but what's funny is 2 years ago at this time, I didn't know the name Jared Lee. Like it was, and
Now you're saying it in your sleep. Now you're praising it.
I think if you go through the 2025 catalog on my phone, you and I speak on the phone more often than my wife and I do, which is incredible.
Oh, sorry, Casey.
It's absolutely incredible.
I get that from a lot of people, honestly. But
I cannot believe that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope if you guys are planning on getting into real estate, that you can take some of this information and build from it. If you have any questions, leave a comment. We're more than happy to.
Yeah, especially if you're a first responder. Like, we're all about helping our brothers and sisters. And if there's something you guys want to talk about, or just kind of we can set up a Zoom if you're not local, or we can meet somewhere. Our whole goal is just to get you guys out of work in 2 or 3 different part-time jobs. And this is honestly, every first responder, I can pretty much guess, has either another part-time fire department they work for, or they do what's the other one they do? They do inspections or renovation. They have a renovation company.
Yep.
Or a painting business, or power washing. I think it's the other one.
Manual labor.
Manual labor.
Labor.
Just meet with us, reach out to us. We'd love to help you and talk about how real estate has changed our lives for our families, and it will do the same for you. We took a while, but we have a system that works. We figured it out, so
yeah,
it's turnkey now. Finally.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks.
Hi, Beth.
That was a good one. I lost my voice through there.